Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you all doing there, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed? Good morning. Yeah. Oh, my little doggy wants to come up. Come. Let me get my dog. Just a moment. Sorry about that. My little boy had to climb up on the bed. I had to help him. Yes, good morning. Good morning. Oh, what a beautiful early morning here in New York City. Oh, I hope all is well. Today is December, I think December 9th. Yeah, December 9th, 2022, and it's about 5:30 in the morning. Boy, I'm glad my throat is clearer. Yeah, just had some water. Yeah, my voice feels strong. You know that sometimes when I wake up and do these morning videos, my throat sounds like a frog in it. So I'm glad that it's a little clearer this morning. Yes, I enjoy getting up these times. It's beautiful, relaxing, and that's when I really get to think and I'm in the mood of talking, share my ideas. And today, what do I want to talk about? Well, if you see in the title, what does Griner? She's a basketball player that was in prison in Russia. Uh, a bathroom incident and an elevator door. What do they all have in common? Okay, all those three things are stories that I heard today and this week. And I think that they all have something in common. And so I want to talk about it. I'll give the answer up front. With those three elements, Griner, the basketball player, uh, the bathroom incident, and the elevator doors, what they all have in common is hatred towards the true female, the true woman. And I think it's a sentiment that is growing, but it's growing. But ultimately, it's anti-family. Anti-family. Oh, please! I hope I'm not upsetting anybody what I'm saying. But hear me out. Hear me out, people. Um, See, if you attack the female, you are attacking the family, the um, the foundational unit of all societies. You need both men and women. We are both important for survival on this planet. Okay, so let me go with this story now about the three elements that I'm sharing here in this video. Um, Two of the incidences I'm just learning about, but I'll start with Griner first because she just got released from prison in Russia, and I thought that was interesting. Yeah. Um, well, as many of you know, um, Griner, she is a basketball player, and women's sports in America, it's not as big as men's basketball, and so for them to continue playing, professional basketball, the women, they may have to play their sports overseas, and so that's what happened. But yeah, so she was playing for, I think she's actually playing for Russia. Um, let me know if I'm incorrect there, but she's at least is playing on a basketball team in Russia. And the last time that she was traveling, uh, you know, in Russia, she had carried these essential oils, and she there was a glass vial in one of the glass vials had an empty cartridge of hashish, hashish oil. And even though it was empty, but it had residue of that substance. And the security uh, found it. And ultimately, she was arrested and to do, what was that, 9 or 10 years? I forget how long, but it was a long time she got sentenced for. Okay. Um, Also to add, now Griner is is a lesbian, and I she may be actually married to a female. But either way, she is a member of the uh, alphabet soup community, and evidently it's a very influential community. Okay, they take care of their own. And that's a positive thing for somebody to take care of their own, regardless whether you agree with a particular lifestyle or group or whatever. Um, it is honorable to take care of your own. It's honorable to take care of your children, your spouse, your community, your religion, whatever what you identify, whatever group you belong to, you protect it. So she was released. Now they knew the, 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 the U.S. government knew ahead of time that um, they needed to do negotiations. That she was to be to do time in prison, and sometimes negotiations are done. It's okay. You don't want us to keep so and so in jail. Well, you have a political prisoner in your country. We can do a swap. So it took all this time, because she was in detention for quite a while. I think it was over the summer. Okay, so why they wait so long? But either way, they decided to do the swap. They did the swap, and they swapped her for. See, the U.S. had a prisoner, a Russian prisoner, a Russian in prison in the U.S. jail, and so they released this fellow. I forget the name of the guy, but the guy was considered one of the most dangerous people on the planet. He is like an arms dealer and was given weapons to various factions, and he was arrested. So they decide to swipe him in the US for her, who's in Russia. And they did the swap yesterday, if I understand right. Now, what's really interesting, now, shouldn't they have exchanged, like something of equal weight? Someone who had empty vials, so it's not like she was smuggling, for distribution, whatever. She had her essential oils, and one of them was an empty cartridge. Now, so it wasn't something that was full of it, but the residue of it, because it was empty. But either way, it caused her to actually be sentenced for many, many years in jail. And then you have in the U.S. someone, an arms dealer, who's considered extremely dangerous. So that you're going to switch. So I thought that was odd. But either way, that's not my real issue here in mentioning the story about Griner. And, she was just released the other day. But what I learned yesterday was that, see, what many of us didn't know was that you had an American woman who went overseas. She um, she had a boyfriend, a Russian boyfriend. Ladies, be careful about your so-called boyfriends. But either way, she had a Russian boyfriend, and she's living there in Russia. And yeah, she's a school teacher. She is also a Caucasian woman. She's a school teacher of young kids, little ones. And I don't know whether she went over there to, to teach or was just on vacation, an extended vacation. I don't know the details. But either way, she's there, and she has a Russian boyfriend. She was in communication with some friends in the United States, and she did communicate with a friend of hers who's a hairdresser, female hairdresser, and she was getting beat up. And the last thing that her American friend had heard that she was pregnant and was being beat up by her boyfriend. So what happens with this white woman from America living staying in Russia? Um, an argument starts, and she gets beat up, um, and she grabs a knife, and the boyfriend gets scratched on the nose with the knife. Uh, Somehow the authorities there um, get get gets notified. They're at the scene, and she says she's getting beat up. You know, she has bruises that they did show. For she had a camera, and she did take pictures of herself, so you can see that she has bruises on her legs. She has two black eyes. She looks awful, but because she had the knife and the boyfriend had a little scratch on his nose, they were he was the boyfriend was asked to fill out all these papers, and I think she also had to sign something, but he was promised, certain things. He claims that he didn't know that him being forced to sign these papers um, would really be a a nail in the coffin for his girlfriend. He claims that he didn't want the girlfriend to be arrested. But either way, that's what happened. So for all this time, yeah, thank you for the thumbs up. For um, they arrest the lady. Here she has all these bruises, but for whatever reason, they decide to arrest only the woman and not the guy who beat her up. And so she's in prison in Russia, this American woman, and yes, she is a white lady. And her friends lost contact with her. Um, and I think they tried to get help for her, they may have contacted the embassy, but either way, they lost contact with her. And they didn't know physically where she was in Russia, what happened to her, and whether she's still pregnant or not, what's her status. So 5 months after the white woman's arrest, um, that's when the Griner incident with her, what she was carrying, and she gets arrested. So all this time you heard things with Griner, but you did not hear about the American teacher. So what happened? How is it that you have someone, an American woman, who unjustly, I would imagine, most people would think it's unjust. She's trying to protect herself. She's being beat up. She's also pregnant. At least at one time she was pregnant there. I don't know whether she had the miscarriage, but you don't hear any outcry. No outcry. But we hear things with Griner. So, what happened? Why was it kept uh, in the headlines for all these months? So, there's going to be like a push now to try to publicize the school teacher that needs to come out. Why didn't they negotiate for both of their release? Okay, you have a school teacher who's trying to protect herself. You have Griner who had these hashish residues in a glass vial and get a 2 for 1. The, 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 the big nugget is the arms dealer who was considered extremely dangerous. Why didn't they ask for the 2 for 1? So I think part of the part of what's happening in my interpretation, okay, um, see the difference between the school teacher and Griner. Okay, Griner was a basketball team, so it's getting a little bit more attention. You know, a lot of people into sports versus a school teacher. Again, she came by herself, you know, or with her boyfriend. So she wasn't a part of a large team of people, you know, just a couple versus a whole team. And so the teammates could say, hey, you know, so and so got arrested, you know, more publicity, okay, as a result. But also, Griner, that they made sure that they shared that she is a member of the alphabet soup community. And in the U.S., um, they seem to have a stronger lobbying, a very strong lobbying influence over policies that happen, civil rights um, policies that are uh, enforced. And it was enough publicity, and they mention about it. I mean, why even mention about her sexual orientation? Well, I guess they knew that it was needed in order to get her out, because now it seems like you are the new poster minority child and deserve attention. And what's the word? To enforce uh, help in these situations. And it worked. It worked for her. It worked for Griner. But here you have a straight woman, the school teacher, who is not heard. She's a straight woman, pregnant, beaten up while she's pregnant. And you see pictures of her. In fact, the irony of it all also, the school teacher was to be released. She was able to, I guess, before she was physically arrested, she did contact the embassy, the U.S. embassy in Russia, and the embassy was to help her, and they paid for her ticket. I think it was gave her $200 or so, and it arranged for her flight to leave Russia. And she gets to the airport, and somehow the authorities got her and brought her back. Yes, yes, okay. Okay, that's right. I almost forgot about that half. That's very, very important. So the U.S. Embassy knew about her case, tried to get her out. She's at the airport to just get out of there. Yeah, because she was to be, yeah, they did tell her she was not to leave Moscow. Now you figure an embassy, so you figure, okay, maybe the embassy talked to the higher ups, whatever, and arranged for her flight to leave, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And so she was arrested. She was arrested last year in November or December. Yeah, November, I think it was. November, December of 2021, 2021. So why didn't the embassy put attention of this pregnant school teacher who was defending herself from her so-called boyfriend, and they have pictures of her that is, indicate that she had a bad beating. Why didn't they successfully negotiate her release? 5 months after her imprisonment, the school teacher's imprisonment, was Griner. That Griner was arrested and then sentenced. So in the negotiation, now they knew that they were going to negotiate for Griner's release. But why were they so eager for Griner's release? Well, it seems like with this current administration, that if you are someone different, that they seem to always want to protect your civil rights and rally for you. So it's not like they don't want to rally for the decency of a young woman, a school teacher, pregnant, and beaten up by her boyfriend. That's not important. But this woman of the alphabet soup community is being protected. And it's like, whoa. So for me, it seems like if they're going to protect somebody, they want to protect outside of the family. Okay. So I thought that was interesting. Okay, the next thing I mentioned in the title, there was an elevator incident. Okay, now in Detroit. Okay, in Detroit, in Michigan, um, a black man. There was an elevator door, and shown on camera. Okay, there was an elevator door, and he's a man in his 20s, if I understand right, a relatively young guy in his 20s, upper 20s, and he held the door open for these ladies to enter the elevator, and it cost him his life. Another man, a black man, didn't like that he let women, and I think he had his child with him. He's a father of two, a 3-year-old and another child older, and I think that they were with them, at least one of them. Um, the second man, didn't like that he let women in the elevator before him, and so he shot the man dead. Um, the man before he died, they carried him out of his friend, or the companion, got him out of the elevator, dragged him out of the elevator to get help, and the cops, they put him in a cop car, but he later died, and the shooter is on the loose. I was dumbfounded. Dumbfounded. Could you believe that? Here, a black man is going to let, you know, keep the door open. These elevator doors may close, but he did a common courtesy to just let these women in. And it cost him his life. Could you believe the evil? You know what this reminds me of? I remember I had to go to I went to my favorite health food store, and I had my carriage. I have a large stroller that I keep my little dogs in when I'm traveling, on the street. Um, I go in the store. I've been going there for almost 20 years, and right in front of the door, like maybe 6 feet in front of me. Once I enter the store, about maybe 6, 7 feet in front of me, there's an aisle that I needed to get to. But there was a man who was looking at this fruit up above him, and um, a store clerk is right next to me, and because I had asked him where something was, something about something, and he says, "Oh, right, if I miss, why don't you just go up the aisle?" But I couldn't go up the aisle because the man, the customer, male customer, is standing right in front of me. Now I never said a word to the male customer, but a common courtesy, you see someone wants to go by, and he sees a stroller. Well, he turned and looked at me and just gave me a "who do you think you are" type of look, and then continued to try to decide which fruit he wanted to get. And yes, I think the man was a fruity man, okay? How he was dressed. It's just something about him and how he was dressed. And he wasn't going to move for me to go forward. I couldn't go left or right, whatever, nothing. And I never say anything to him, but I took mental note. And it seems like this anger that the alphabet soup people have towards women, real women. And yeah, and he was a black fellow. Looked like he was in his 30s or something like that, mid 30s. Big dude, a big dude. Well, some members of this fruity community, and it's funny that he's looking at fruit and he has this fruity look about him, and resentment or contempt that he had for me. I've never seen this person before prior, so it's nothing that he had against me, but you can feel his resentment and hatred. And I thought this was something else. Um, rights. Some of them want more rights than you, and they want to feel like they are more important than you, the true woman. Okay? Yeah, that happened. The incident happened earlier this year, I think it was. But I remembered it, and I felt, wow. I really felt, what's happening, people. We don't love ourselves. See, it's about separating the family, dissolving community, even within the black community. Um, and then an entitlement, okay? They're the new protected group in America. and it's going to their head, in my opinion. Everybody deserves rights. Everybody deserves to be, respect. You give respect, you should get respect. That's how I feel. You give respect, you get respect. You don't try to harm people. But what I'm sensing is that with the new rights that they're getting, at least in New York City, there seems to be a resentment from that community to women, to the straight community. Um, and one time we were just all one community within the black community. Um, Whatever what your orientation was, you're still of the black community, right? We all know it's like it's a new subgroup, and they no longer are about the straight black community. But see, they also get protection too with the black community, and I'm feeling that with Griner, it's like a 2-for-1. Uh, she's a female. She's black. Oh no, a 3-for-1. She's a woman. She's black, and she's a alphabet super. So 3-in-1 actually, and that helped her get the release to release a an arms dealer, what considered one of the most dangerous people on the planet. They said the government said, and used him to release him for her. So here, this man could now harm other people out there, right? And the last component in this story, this is, oh, what was the other one? Oh, the bathroom incident. I was just told this story about an 80-year-old woman. She's at the, what was it, the YWCA. And she's in the ladies' bathroom. And while she's in the bathroom, um, she hears a man's voice. And so she takes a look. What's going on? What's the man doing in the woman's bathroom? And she sees, the 80-year-old woman sees a man wearing a dress, and he is watching these little children pull down their bathing suits so they can go potty. And so she tells them, get out of the bathroom. Wow. What happened was the 80-year-old woman was banned from using their facility because she told the man to get out, even though he is a man and he is looking at little children going potty. So what's happening here with the fear? See, it's a new protected group, and I do not wish any harm at any group. I'm not promoting any physical violence against any group. But I'm putting light to the story, light to what's happening in this country, in the US, regarding this. An 80-year-old woman to be thrown out. What did she do wrong? See, people are afraid now because they have attention, this alphabet soup group, and they're afraid of a lawsuit. Well, what about the rights of little children to not be stared at by a man wearing a dress? See, a pervert is a pervert. Whether the pervert is an alphabet soup person, a straight person, regardless. Protection from potential harm should have been the focus. But instead, what is being focused is that the person is an alphabet soup person and they're to be protected. This is really sad. this is really sad. So I felt that with all this, yeah, and the children that were being watched were all were little girls. So common sense is being thrown out the window with this new rights for the alphabet soup community, so that the family, what's being attacked, I feel, is womanhood. True womanhood is being uh, violated. It's being harmed. It's being compromised. All these three incidences, I felt that the common denominator was the respect of womanhood is not being protected. The family, the little children, little girls, weren't being protected by a potential predator. And it just seems like more and more these rights of others at the cost of the family. See, the event, I think eventually what they want to do is to make it that having desire for little children, that's a protected right. So, uh, pedophilia. I feel that they want to make pedophilia um, legal. That's their ultimate goal. And they're creeping and creeping into our world, the innocent world of family and the children. We have to wake up. We have to wake up. And I did mention a story, it was about 1 or 2 days ago, maybe it was 2 days ago. The story of this man in New York City, in Brooklyn, with a long rap sheet. It is a man, a biological man, and he's living in, they have facilities, I just found out, for the alphabet soup community. It was a big apartment complex for them to live in. It looked nice from the outside in Brooklyn, and he lives there. And this man, starting from 1963, was arrested. He committed, throughout his lifetime, rape, murder, um, and the woman that he murdered, he cut up into little pieces. You heard me right. Well, he did, and then he gets, put in prison, but they released him. They released him several times. Every time he does something, then they release him after some time back into society so he can prey on women. So now he says, well, I'm not, okay, he's a biological man, really weird looking. And then now he says, no, I'm not a man. He said he's a lesbian. He considers himself a lesbian who, oh, what is that? Oh, I forget what is that. A lesbian that does something. Okay, so he's not even a man. I mean, he thinks he's a woman. He wants people to think he's a woman. But what he's doing, see, it's the hatred of the real woman. It's the hatred of the true biological woman. He preys upon. He gets involved with them, commits murder, and chops them up in pieces. And how they found out about this latest incident, I found out this latest incident happened earlier this year, but it's now, it's being put out there in the media now. At least I got wind of it just 1 or 2 days ago. Um, he had put the torso of the woman in a plastic bag, and it was put in a shopping cart, and left outside, and then when someone went and looked inside the shopping cart and sees the body, they notify the police, and then the police got a tip and arrested him. See, this is a man who hates women so much that they want to live as a man, and it still looked like a man to me. Why is this? Why is something like this allowed? And I made mention in that video that I did 1 or 2 days ago that the what do you call it? The shelter system in New York City, they allow men to sleep in the women's quarters. These people who want to claim that they're female or tranny, but they are not. I mean, they are predators, and some of them rape women who are in the shelter system. And I met a woman about 7 years ago. She sat next to me on a bench outside in the city here in Manhattan, and she told me her story. She was a black woman, very, very big black woman, young, probably in her 30s. And she got into the shelter system, unfortunate. And there at the shelter, she got raped. I felt so sorry for her. And you don't come out the same when a sexual crime happens. Like she was started to act a little cuckoo at one point. How people could you start out normal, and then life happens to you, and sometimes you get put in the shelter system. They're not protecting the true woman. Oh, I almost forgot. I mentioned in this story before, about the lady, the man that cut up the woman. Yeah, um, at the shelter system, um, a woman, a staff member, alerted management or whatever. This person is dangerous. Do not have them stay here. Guess what they did? They fired that woman. They fired her. How dare you say that? But this is a murderer. This is somebody with a long rap sheet of murdering and dismembering women, biological women. So you're going to let them in this shelter full of women so they can prey on them. And this woman hater is 83 years old. You heard me right. This biological male is 83 years old and a murderer, and just this year murdered another biological woman. So what's happening? The perversion of America, the corruption of what's happening here in America. It's not just women, it's an assault on the foundation of family. Family. That is what, in my opinion, all these things, these stories have in common. The hijacking of the foundation of family. The woman who is pregnant, the straight woman, the woman being protected by a straight man who had those 2 kids on the elevator and is shot down because how dare he give respect to women to enter the elevator. That man with the elevator story reminds me of the man in the health food store who didn't want me to pass because he had a problem with women. That's what I picked up from him. That mentality. How dare you think you're important? Something must have happened in these guys' lives. See, that like they say, hurting people hurt people. Hurting people hurt people. Who hurt these men to not even want a woman to enter the elevator first, or to not excuse, even if I were a man, wanted to pass by? He's blocking the aisle. And I waited patiently. And the fact that when he turned around and gave me a dirty look, I never said a word to him. Common courtesy, it's about common courtesy. Common courtesy would have, oh, excuse, and just move out the way and the person just go through quickly. It's not like I had to get what he got, and I was just waiting my turn. No, I just wanted to go through to the aisle. And even with the store clerk saying, oh, you just go straight. So he knew I was there. I'm right next to him. And he decided not to give me that courtesy and just move away. See, when you change the rules and you're given a benefit, it just goes to show that the contempt they really have for you. And their true goal is to uproot you, in my opinion. I'm reminded by another situation when I was in the military. Yes, I was in the military. Any of you who are new to my channel, I was also in the military. I was in the Navy. And in militaries, in Navy school, there was I was very young back then. This is over 30 years ago. There was an alphabet soup person. They were, but also you're not supposed to. Back then in those days, you couldn't be that. So a lot of women kind of like pretend, just try to act straight enough. But something about their looks, and I'll talk about, if I have time, I'll talk about that also, about their look. The people have a signature to them. People in general have signatures that define who they are. And this lady had a signature, as well as other people on that ship had that same signature, energy signature upon them. I'm just noticing trends or whatever. That's all I'm saying here. My experience is what I saw and what happened. Okay? You are who you are. What you like is what you like. But I'm seeing things being done against people. If you want people to respect you, why aren't you respecting others? See, it's an entitlement that is happening. And when you feel entitled, then you think that the whole world revolves around you and that you can take over. In my opinion, that some people do. So either way, in this school situation, there was a woman that looked kind of eccentric, a little different. I remember she had white hair. She was a Caucasian female. And yes, she was different. Back in those days, I was into, we were all equal, love everybody, this spirituality that I wanted to uphold. And yes, I did see how people treated her. See, I let my common sense, rationality, because we're all equal, right? And we all have to be kumbaya, right? That's my mentality. But yes, I did see certain sentiments towards that female. But one day, this female, I should have reported it. But again, by naivety and I think embarrassment that I got tricked. Well, yeah, let me tell this story. And again, it's all wrapped in to a movement that might be there to get rid of us, the true, true family. So she asked me a favor. She says, "Oh, they're bothering me, and could you speak on my behalf?" And I was all about kumbaya, we're all equal, let's love everybody. So they interviewed me, the officers, the management there. I said, well, yeah, I do see them doing things, Um, I just spoke the truth. Well, her plan was this. She wanted to be transferred so that she could get into a new school and start off in a new place, And so, but prior to that incident, when I was interviewed, she shared me this information, and I never heard talk like this in my life. And I I'm from New York City, very naive, relatively young. Um, I didn't know how to process this, and I just couldn't believe it. She started sharing. We're in the cafeteria, and again, in the military, it's overwhelmingly men. Okay, we're in the Navy, and we're the only, me and that so called female, were the only women in that cafeteria at that time. The only females, there's hundreds of men who were around. And she's saying very boldly how she hates men and wants to take over the world and to destroy what in particular she said white men, to destroy them. She's a white female, and she's telling me this, how she wants to destroy the white man, the white male, all of them. I mean, and then a guy, turns around and starts looking at her like, what's going on here? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I never heard talk like this before from a white person. Yeah, she was older also. She entered the military in her 30s. So she is older than most people. Her hair was completely white, too. That's what really made her stand out. Okay, most of the people who entered, they're like 18 years old, 18, 19. Um, so she, now, it was her vibe. So she had weird vibes. She never physically done anything or said anything against anybody. And that's why I was willing to speak on her behalf, because she didn't physically or verbally do anything against anybody. But yes, I perceive there's something odd about her. But again, we also are equal and we're supposed to all love each other, right? And my knowing what she had said in the past to me openly told me and didn't care. I didn't know how to process this. First time I'm really away from home. Um, so I just, threw that out, that information. But when I was interviewed by the officer, the higher ups regarding the woman, see, the woman was playing my naivety to get her transferred. That's what she wanted. She wanted to get transferred. Who knows what she's going to do overseas? I mean, And so, yes, they did transferred her. So she was to be a boatswain's mate. Yeah. So she was in a school, and here, we were in the military school, what they call A school. where you learn your trade that what you're going to do in the military. And so she wanted to start off from scratch and be a boatswain's mate, and there she could move up to, you might, you start off, chipping paint and, unde- undesirable, and then you find something, that you like, and you move up, and for whatever reason she wanted that. So she gets the transfer, but before they transferred her, I was walking in the hallway and she's talking to another, a questionable looking person. And as I was passing the door, just minding my business, they both turned around and made a dirty look at me. Dirty meaning stupid. And then it hit me. I was used. And that both of them are uh, of that, I realized. And I was ashamed and embarrassed. I should say embarrassed, not ashamed. I was embarrassed that I allowed her to use my good nature, my kumbaya nature, so she could be released and transferred to the West Coast to do who knows what against humanity. She was a man hater. But you know that the person that she's talking to looks very mannish. Oh, we got a person, a troll here. Okay. Okay, let's stop this foolishness. Let's stop this foolishness. Who put that up. Okay. If you have something to say something constructive. I don't care what your beliefs are. On my channel, it's about each one teach one, but have something constructive to say. Educate me. Don't do foolishness, okay? So anyway, both of those, yeah, the person that she's talking to has a man spirit about him, you know, female, but has a man spirit about them, and that's when it clicked what she was about. It seems like when people um, of that community, when they some people of that community, not all of them, some people of that community, some individuals who have certain tendencies, when they start to hate the opposite gender, that they start to look like that opposite gender. For example, let's say a woman hates men. Let's just say, well, they start to look like a man. And let's say if it's a man who has a hatred to women, they start to want to be woman, dress like a woman, and want access to women's facilities, such as the bathroom, such as homeless shelters where women stay, and then that they may do acts of aggression against that gender that they hate. And I feel that is what's being used to destroy certain peoples. As an example, as I just mentioned, the man who earlier this year um, has a wig on, and then dismembers, kills and dismembers women, biological women. Or in the military, you had a lot of female, you had female who started to, they had like a club. Okay, I'm just mentioning my experience. I'm just mentioning my experiences to educate what happened while I was there. I lived on a ship again. I was in the Navy, and when I was just being brought aboard the ship, you're given a in-dock. In-dock means you get they share with you, the your managers, your all, your superiors uh, tell you how the what goes on the ship. It's like to introduce you, an introduction of what you're supposed to do, not do, the lay of the land. But an incident had happened before I came aboard the ship. There was a member of the alphabet soup community, and they went to the person who processes your mail, and they got a tissue or something or hanky and wrote with a, this is just what they told me, the officers told me in the indoctrination, indoc. They wrote a message, a threatening letter in red lipstick to the lady who worked at the, who takes your mail. And this was, the lady who's being threatened contacted her superiors, and the captain of the ship said he's not going to tolerate it, and anyone of that persuasion that he will process them out of the military immediately. And that's what happened. But they left some on board to try to, what do you call it? I forget the term. When you, to bait other women of that lifestyle, out. You know what I'm saying? Like to catch fish. They want to find any who else is on board, and so they're going to get someone from that community to flirt or whatever to try to weed out any other hidden people of that lifestyle. And how I found out that aspect, well, one of them aboard the ship, who was in my indoc class, was sharing me this story that, oh yeah, I'm going to be processed out. She was 18 years old, and she's from Texas, and she's married to a woman. This is over 30 years ago. And they were going to process her out, but she wanted to get back to her wife, and she's being used to coax out any other hidden ones to get processed out. And I didn't like that. Think she's gonna, uh, I didn't like her demonstrate on me. I didn't like that. I'm not of that persuasion. But I didn't like the sneakiness behind that. But either way, she leaves the military within the 2 weeks when I arrived. But so, what was happening there on that ship? See, they were getting a stronghold. And oh, I almost forgot something else. Okay, so as time went on in the military on that ship, okay, that was like day one when with the indoc they told me this story. Yeah, they have to warn me what's going on the ship. That's why they told me this story. And these are my superiors. Later on, sometime, in my stay there on the ship, there was like a lounge room, and I went into the lounge room to watch TV, and I see that all the people who have that weird look about them, all of them were in that room. I looked around and I felt out of place. I walked right out. This was one of their meeting rooms, their meeting moments. Who knows what they're planning? Yeah, they get mean spirited. And somehow, they want to get in my business when I want to take a shower. Oh, she's taking a shower. She's taking over 10-minute shower. I mean, man, what is going on here? See, they want you. They want to, what you call, um, break you, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't really share that story. Oh, there you go again. Okay, just a moment. Okay, move that. I'm sorry. Just trying to get this thing out here. Okay, let me go on. Okay. See that? See, people who don't have anything better to do, but they want to get on my parade. Get your own parade. Get your own channel, and you can put your crap up there. You know? Sorry about that for, people who saw these messages. So you got perverts out there. Okay? See, I stay on my lane. But when you go and step in my lane, I have a problem. So either way with my story now. Um, so when I entered the room, this aggression, there's aggression that comes out, and I know I wasn't one in that room. What are they saying? What are they saying? Okay, see, you can be what you want to be. Okay, if you like what you like, that's your business. But when you have ulterior motives, do your job. You're there in the military, just do your damn job. Do your job and then leave, right? But see, it goes more than just what you like. It's about an agenda, in my opinion. It's just my opinion that the agenda goes beyond just, oh, I just so happen to like certain things. No, it's an agenda, in my opinion, because what was happening in that room? How is that all the people just so happen that looked that special way were in that room? What were they up to? And yet they were harassed. Yeah, I remember one of them threw something at me when I left the door. I left the room. Yeah, she was in my school. Yeah, you have these creatures who hate the true woman. They hate the womb and want to attack you. I've done nothing to see. It's because they have something, some people of that lifestyle have something against other women. See, I do not promote violence. So you can be of your lifestyle. That is your business. Why physically attack a person who's done nothing to you? That's what I'm getting at. Again, it's about, you have the freedom. We all have freedoms to live a lifestyle of your choice. That is your right. That is my right. I don't care. I don't want to know what you're doing in your bedroom. It's none of my business. To each his own. And that's how I felt back then. But my eyes got opened when I realized that the women had contempt for me. They weren't my friend. She never thanked me, but she communicated, that lady who came to me to speak on her behalf, She didn't even thank me. Said, thank you for, See, if it was she was innocent, she would have done that. Said, they would just bother me, but thank you for helping me, blah blah blah. You know, and yeah, I'll be getting transferred, blah blah blah. It wasn't about that. It's about the agenda. And the straight ladies sense something off about her. Some people have an off spirit about them. And that's what the other ladies picked up. No one ever said that word, that L word, towards her, but they knew something was off about her. And so they reacted the way they did. I, I, I just didn't want to accept that there was some off about her. I said, oh, we're all equal. See that? So they're not your friend. When something evil, see, she was evil by her behavior. Her behavior was evil, and her intent was evil. So she wants to get rid of men, as she said. She wants to kill them. I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. And when she got her way, and when I was walking past the door, when those two ladies turned around and looked dirty at me, a dirty look at me, and when I realized that I was played by her, I was too embarrassed to now go back to my superiors in the military and tell them what really happened with the story of in the lunchroom when she said that she wants to kill people, kill off the men. I didn't think that they would believe me. I did not think they would believe me. They just think, oh, you just now want her, don't want her to get transferred. I didn't know what to do. I never experienced anything like that, and so I just kept silent and felt real stupid. Yeah. See, there is a movement out there to destroy the family, and it's not about someone just liking apples or oranges or bananas. It's about what they're going to do with those fruits. What are their goals? As we see here in New York City, that they're given the leisure to do things against certain population groups, to remove their rights. Sports, women's sports. Um, Women's sports are being violated. In fact, oh, there was something else I saw today. A woman um, who actually rallied for the the men who changed as a woman to go in sports. There was some type of event, and there was a biological woman who's into sports, and she um, went to this type of rally, because she was in favor of, the alphabet soup people. She said that, oh, she thought it was a good idea, so she promoted it. Well, what she didn't know, what this, biological woman didn't know, uh, was that, okay, she was into sports, and she came in second. She didn't know by promoting the rights of these other people, the alphabet soup people, that it would violate her ability to get a scholarship. She's in ladies sports, and she came in second to a transgender person, meaning that it was a biological man who now wants to call himself a woman. And she came in, the regular woman came in second. So she lost to a man. And so now she's doing the interview because now she's angry. She said, look, I didn't know that they were going to do that. She said, I was in favor of the that that particular movement to get rights. She said, I did not know that it meant that they would compete with me in sports. She said, that's not what she was about. See that, people? Just like what I did in the military, I didn't know that by, you know, everybody love everybody, and, you know, kumbaya. I had no idea that it was going to be used to hurt me. That woman in sports, she didn't know. She thought she was being a liberal and helping out the new minority group, but that new minority group was used to boot her out of a scholarship. You hear that? That's what it was all about. And that's what it's always about, to see how far you can go so they can have access. Their goal is to get access to your little children. They are introducing, I didn't know I was going to really go this far with this video. And it's not my motive to offend. I am I am teaching what is happening. And not all people of that community are into children. Some of them are people who just want to live like everybody else, um, and stay with their own, but some have an agenda to have access to our little children and are doing and introducing in the school sexual material. I don't care whether you're curly or straight, you do not expose children to adult content. That is a no no. That is a no no. Yet there are many other things that are going on that to show the real feeling that they have against, some of them have against women and the family. Yeah, I told you about, yeah, I was, what also happened to me in New York City once. This was a couple of years back. I was just sitting down on a bench. I was tired. I had my little dogs with me. I was just taking a little break, and right next to me was, a restaurant. Oh, sorry, there, my device is running low on energy. Oh, to make this really quick, I was just relaxed. I was a little tired, and I was resting my dogs, and there was a restaurant next to me. Um, in front of me, there were men of that persuasion, and it was a black and white. The black guy had grabbed this Caucasian man by the buttocks and lifted him up in the air, and they all just talk story, okay? And they talk what they want to talk, and then the white guy leaves. And right while the guy left, to my left, or my right, a person that worked in a restaurant, they're wearing the smart, what do you call it? Oh God, how can I forget the name? That the thing, to keep them clean while they're working. Apron. I'm sorry. He was wearing his apron, and he was just taking a smoke break. And he noticed me with the dog, the person from the restaurant. Well, when the restaurant man, started talking to me about my dogs, the black dude, the alphabet soup kind, runs over to him to make a move on him sexually. And then he notices right away, oh, you got a ring on. Oh, you're married. Oh, this dude was trying to come in on a man talking to me, like he's competing against me for a man. Now I'm not. I was just relaxing there. I wasn't, you know, the restaurant man. He was just taking a smoke break and he's just noticing my dog, just wanted to talk to, about my dogs. That was it, was completely innocent. But he's on the move of predator and want what he wants, like he's competing against me. So that's another trend that, see, they don't respect the spot of women. And he was on the hunger prowl to get another man. Now he was just with the guy right in front of me. This all happened right in front of me. He was carrying on. It is like it's almost like a disease that they have. This 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 strong sexual predator competition, and throw it in your face. And they're not respecting the woman. And let's say she wants a guy. Well, they're using it against you. They, I should say, that individual, excuse me, that individual wasn't respecting me as a woman or a black woman. And yes, the restaurant guy was a white man. And it's like, wow. It's like, wow, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's a lack of respect. And you're throwing your body out there like that. It's horrible to watch. It's no respect. It's a New York City, people. Is going down the drain. It's going down the drain, and it's saddening. I'm very sad about this. Relationships between men and women within the black community. It's like they don't want you to have. They don't want you to have a nice relationship with a guy. You're being pushed out. And many of the other men are losing their mind. They're losing their mind. They're walking around like a daze in New York City, many of them. I don't really know any normal black men here in New York City. And the women, I'm just very sad. I'm sad for humanity. I'm sad for everyone. I hope I'm making myself clear. I am not here to try to make fun of anybody. I am not like that. And I'm sharing this so that you know what's going on here in New York City. I'm sharing this to let you know if it's happening in this black community, it's happening all over. And it's probably happening within other racial communities as well. But because I'm a member of the black community, I'm sharing what's happening in my community first and how it affects me. How when I go visit other boroughs, family, and other living in other areas in the city, that I'm seeing social decay. People, you need to save your families. You need to teach your children what's going on to protect your little ones because predators are out there. Ladies' sports are being violated. Now, ladies' sports, a lot of blacks go into sports. Let's say she's a black female, a biological black female. Well, now Leroy could just put on a wig and say, I am a female. And she'll take, this woman would take the scholarship away from a true female. See, it's about uprooting the family. And when you attack the woman in general, you're attacking her progeny or her future progeny, thus the family, thus that community that she represents. It's not just happening in the black community, it's happening all over. Please wake up, people. Again, one's sexual, your body is your choice. You have a right to like what you like. But now, some individuals in the alphabet community is violating my side of the lane. And that's a no-no. Please respect our lanes. You like respect, and I give it. Please give it back to me as well, okay? So I'm going to end this live stream. Yeah, my batteries are low, but I hope you understand my words. And again, if I offended anybody, it was not my intention to offend anyone from the alphabet soup community. If you are an honest community with your intent, uh, please manage the people in your community. Just like when people do wrong in my community, I speak out. Okay? I speak out. So thank you again. I see sunrise is here, is coming out. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Yes, this is Friday. Yes, and I have an appointment today. Um, I thank you all for listening. Peace, love, and joy to all communities, regardless what you are. Let's be respectful to each person's needs. Okay? Take care, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye bye.